When we got off of the plane, the short ride from Nassau to Andros, when we landed, all I saw was opportunity. When we talk about building an economy, I saw opportunities in agriculture, and that's something they're already working on. I saw opportunities in construction. I saw opportunities in fishing and tourism, restaurants, and quality of life. Are those all things that the Bahamian people would be interested in?
I mean, I've had, we've had discussions with members of parliament going back, Bruce, 15, 16 months ago. And these are all things that they wanted, that we had talked about, that there was an interest in. So they want to see those things happen. They want to make sure that they're working with people that, understand the value of mutual benefit. They want to improve economically their activity, but at the same time, they don't want to destroy the beauty that is unique, to the Bahamas, particularly Andros. For hundreds of years, they've never had these chances. Now they're starting to realize that there may be some opportunities that they can take advantage of, and they're doing that, but they're, reaching out to partners, like Community College Partners Program and some other partners that we're working with to be able to find ways to move forward. And we are doing everything we can with an eye towards remembering this is not for us, this is for them. And we follow their lead. We may make suggestions or give them ideas, but at the end of the day, it's what they want to see, not what we want to see. We're the bridge. We don't necessarily do the things. We find ways to get things done that people say they want to see, that they'd like to see happen.
Let's talk about the bridge, and what Community Partners is doing now is bridging economic development in the Bahamas. And the Bahamian government is scheduled to visit Atlanta to talk to local business owners about investing in the Bahamas.
Yeah, meeting for May. Obviously, that won't happen in May, but we'll be pushing to get that done. I really want to try to get that meeting done in June, because come July, they'll be really occupied because it will be the 50th anniversary of their political independence.
Can you talk specifically about who will be visiting Atlanta?
We're working on members of the government from Parliament and members from the national government, as well as my advocate, my partner who you met before, Mr. Prescott Smith. We're finalizing the list of people that we're trying to come, based in part on the partners that we will have in Atlanta that they want to meet. There have been people in the Bahamas that are absolutely interested in having that conversation. And again, my role as the bridge is to put all that together, to bring both sides together in one place at one time.
Will it be the same government officials that we met with in the Bahamas?
We'll know for sure when I get a chance to, talk about them. They were certainly interested when we met with them. Again, I want to make sure that we have the right people on both sides.
We went down to take a look at various islands, the flats, the natural resources in the Bahamas, and the freshwater lens, to see the aragonite sand, to see the limestone, and it blew my mind to know that we have companies here in this particular country that are down in the Bahamas extracting those resources and making billions in the Bahamas.
You had the good fortune to interview, Prescott Smith, who is my doorway to the Bahamas. And he talked about the fact that, these resources have been extracted for a couple hundred years with no benefit to the Bahamian people. And even in their educational system, they were never taught the value of these resources. They were only taught, as he says, sea, sun, and sand. So, they were always taught to focus on the tourism industry, not really understanding the value of the land, the sea, right beneath their feet, right on the ground that they walked on. So we have a new government there. We're working with them. Because we believe that you can conduct business in a way that both sides benefit. There can be benefit for the Bahamian people, and businesses can benefit too. You can still make a profit, but you can do it in a way that is sustainable, so that you're not over extracting like they did with the sponge industry years ago, where they harvest sponge to the point where they just about wipe sponges out of the Bahamas.
So, Mike, why are these resources so important to various mining industries? The limestone, the aragonite. Can you talk about those resources there?
Well, I mean, think about the limestone. I mean, what do you do with limestone? You make glass, you make cement, you build buildings, you build roads. Here in this country, we've got a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. How much calcium caltrate do you need to do that? How much limestone does it take? You need that for all that construction, the roads, the bridges, the highways, the buildings, the infrastructure. It's a critical component piece that you need to be able to do that. I mean, it's just like salt or sugar in the food industry. In processed food, you can't process it without those key ingredients. Well, that limestone is a key ingredient. That aragonite sand is a key ingredient. And the aragonite sand is really valued because it's not square, it's round. So it binds better.
Are you telling me the Bahamas is the only place they can extract these resources? Is there anywhere in America where those resources can be mined?
Well, those resources are available in different parts of the world, but when you have the opportunity to take it and not have proper compensation for the value of what you took, you're going to tend to take it from there.
Who gave these companies the right to take those resources from the Bahamas?
Well, you have to go back, back towards the days of colonialism, where, these countries were not controlled and run by the native population that lived there. But there were colonial nations that ran these, the British, the Dutch, the Spanish, to some extent the Americans, where we essentially came in, took over the country, ran the government, controlled the economy, and extracted the resources to our benefit, not necessarily, worried about the benefit for the people that actually live there. So, if that's all you've ever known, and that's all you've ever been taught, and you don't realize the value of the material underneath your feet, you don't know what you're missing out on.
So when you talk about making change and moving things forward, it's not necessarily the government. It's generally one person that starts that charge. And are you referring to a Prescott Smith?
Well, I mean, you know how I feel about Prescott. I told you I thought he was the Martin Luther King of the Bahamas. I mean, he has been a voice, trying to get people to understand the value of their natural beauty, and has paid an extraordinarily heavy price for that, over the last 30 years. So one man can make a difference, but it takes that one man to galvanize the people behind him, and that's how real change starts to occur.
Andros is one of the islands that we had the opportunity to visit, and what I found when we got there was that the basic bones to develop an economy is there. There was really nothing there but maybe a restaurant and a store from what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
But I also saw a port, and I saw a university or college, BAMSI, which are resources to a fresh start to developing some sort of economy in that particular area. Is that something that the Bahamas is interested in doing?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, the government has, they have collocated, the parliament passed in legislation some stronger support for BAMSI. The Prime Minister has installed a permanent position there to begin to develop ecotourism. I mean, you and I had the good fortune to see, which I didn't even know, and I've been there more than once, the huge agricultural, activities that BAMSI, has the opportunity to develop. I mean, which we would love to see developed. I mean, this is a country that, imports 90% of their food, but, you've got a place like Andros where you've got an abundance of water and land. I mean, so, but they understand that. And they are making moves to help put those things in place. They're looking at strategies to, create opportunities for economic development. And when those opportunities exist, that will give the government a chance to, ignite some changes and things that they would like to see. BAMC should be playing a large role in, agricultural development. BAMC should be playing a large role in the preservation of the flats, the mangroves that we all had a chance to see. I mean, these are ecosystems that, you think about what the Bahamas has, the largest flats in the world, and the flats are where the feeder fish live, which the bigger fish eat, which the fishing industry depends on catching to provide seafood for people all over the world. I mean, and they've got more flats than any place in the world. Third largest, coral, reefs in the world. Huge areas of mangroves, which is, mangroves not only protect you from floods, but they also help purify the water. I mean,
and we saw that when we were there.
I mean,
you actually drunk water out of the doggone ground.
I mean, that water.
I tasted it too as well.
Yeah, that water.
And it was fresh. No salt.
That's right. That water, coming up where the limestone is the filter, you could literally put a dipper in there and drink the water. I mean, the water is just that clean. I mean, I just read something where they said even the astronauts said that the oceans around the Bahamas were the cleanest that they see from space. I mean, what does that tell you?